Hi. Peanuts? What do you think?
Oh my god. Don't you go running, buddy. It is such a beautiful day. Cap Sandy Marina's right over there. And I'm headed to Cap Sandy Park with Sully for a little hike and a little work. And it just doesn't get any prettier than this. It's almost fall and it feels like summer again. So it's a good sign. We are a couple hours away from leaving Anacortes here in the beautiful Cap Sandy area, Cap Sandy Marina, to go to Blaine, Washington, which lies on the US-Canada border. And we're gonna go and we're gonna get as close to that darn border as we can without going over. Kind of like that show, Price is Right. Guess the price, but don't go over. So we're gonna get as close to the border, we're gonna see Canada, and we're gonna show you around Blaine. So we are so excited about that. We've never been, so hopefully you'll enjoy the ride. Beautiful views. Cap Sandy Marina down there. Freedom's tucked away. San Juan Islands. Such a great hike. So we're about ready to go, and our neighbor's boat was just squawking, and I was freaked out that it was a bird. And it's a parrot. Is that crazy? Did you know the bird was in there?
Yeah.
I thought a bird was dying.
And we're off to Blaine. We just left Anacortes. We have about a 33 nautical mile trip to the north, which will take us about 5 hours. We're getting a bit of a late start. It's 2:30 in the afternoon, so we'll arrive right around sunset. Sunset's getting earlier and earlier now, the later we get into summer. But I think we'll arrive before it's too dark, which will be good. We decided to go there today versus tomorrow. Tomorrow there's going to be a gale warning. The winds are expected to get up to, I don't know, about over 30 knots, close to 35, 40 miles an hour. So we want to make sure that we're secured at the dock before that happens. So it should be a good ride today. There's little wind to speak of, and it's a beautiful day. Our cruise to Blaine was everything a Pacific Northwest cruiser could ask for. Light winds, flat seas, clear skies, and incredible scenery. Luckily, we had several hours to enjoy it, because the next 4 days would be quite the opposite. Heavy winds and heavy rain as forecasted.
So here in Blaine, we only have a few days here before heading back south, and it has been horrid weather. It's been pouring since we got here a couple days ago. The wind has been howling. Yesterday there were gale force winds. It didn't get over 30 knots, at least in our marina, but it was just crazy, windy, rainy, yucky. So we barely got off the boat. We got off for like a half hour just to do a quick walk up into town, which is sad because Blaine seems like a really great spot. So we're hoping that this sunshine stays out for a little bit longer and we can get a little window of dryness so we can walk back into town and go to the Peace Arch Park, because I want to go to the border and just dip my toe right over, but not touch. Nope, not crossing the border. We're just getting as close to the border as we can without going over. So fingers crossed that the weather cooperates and we don't get another huge downpour like it's just been happening all morning. So we'll see. First, I've got to find Sean. Sean and Sully took a little walk, so I'm gonna go find them and we'll head out. Here you are. I found you, buddy. Blaine Harbor Marina is one of 2 marinas located at the north entrance into Drayton Harbor. It's got friendly staff, cheap moorage, and incredible views of the Salish Sea, Canada, and Mount Baker on a clear day. There's also the Semiahmoo Marina and Resort right across from Blaine on the southwest side of the harbor. Maybe next trip we'll have to check that out. That's not Pacific Northwest worthy.
What?
There's no raincoat. I think you need a few more layers.
The rain's done for the day.
No, it's not.
It'll come back tomorrow.
No, there's 90% chance in like 4 hours.
No, I told it to hold off.
Oh, you did?
We'll be back in 4 hours.
Oh, cool. Well, thanks for letting Mother Nature know.
She listens to me.
Do you want to check out that food truck?
Yeah, maybe just an appetizer so I don't get hangry.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've watched our channel for a while, you know that guy gets real hangry if he doesn't eat. So good thing there's a food truck here and it's on Google Maps, so it must be good if it's a Google mapped food truck. The marina is within walking distance to just about everything we could ask for, including fun parks for kids of all sizes to enjoy. Bravo! The scenic trail leads you right into the historic downtown. And the historic Peace Arch State Park, which is actually 2 parks in 2 different countries. The southern half is owned by the US and the northern half is owned by Canada. So we really are going to Canada today. So we made it to the Peace Arch State Park. It's so exciting to be here. And I have a hunch, I don't know for sure yet, but I think right across the park is Canada. If it is, that's really crazy that you can just walk over. I mean, you really can't, but you could. I mean, if you're a criminal. But yeah, it's wild. Sean, this really is the border. Oh my god, I'm so lame. This is like the most exciting thing ever.
You're not gonna cross, are you? I'll have to have you arrested if you do.
Hey.
What do you notice differently?
It's right, like the houses are different.
And the street signs are in kilometers.
Oh,
There's one right there. the backside of it.
So I'm just gonna... Oh, doesn't it feel good to be so close to Canada? And I think those people over there were having like a family reunion or something. I think this is where spouses or like boyfriends and girlfriends who can't see each other come for like a little kiss over the border.
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of, you can just walk right on in.
I'm sure there's cameras, like I'm sure this is not just easy to just walk over. Like if you really were intent on
The only camera I saw is the one on the US pole up there.
I'll bet there's like trackers, there's probably so much stuff. The park allows citizens of both countries to mingle without technically crossing any border, all thanks to a treaty signed after the War of 1812. It also stipulated that there cannot be any boundaries or physical barriers erected on the northern border of the United States. This 67-foot peace arch honors those treaties and was the first arch in the U.S. dedicated to peace and is still one of the very few in the world. Sadly, the Canadian side of the park remains closed due to COVID, but Canadians can still enjoy the US side, which remains open. So I guess today we're not really going to Canada. Bye, Canada. We've missed you. We love you. We hope you open up soon. See you later. Sean, did you say goodbye to Canada?
Canada.
Tell her you love her and you miss her.
We hope you open your border soon. We'd like to come across. Thanks. Hi.
Doing some electrical work, I see.
Trying to get our boat a little bit more comfortable as we live aboard this winter. For heating, we prefer to use electric heat, the electric heating units that are on the floor, like space heaters, versus our reverse cycle, a heating and air conditioning unit that's installed in the boat. These work great for air conditioning the boat, but for heating, the ducting is kind of all wrong. The outlets for the heat come out at the top of the room, so we find the rooms to be drafty. So what I want to do is allow our electric heat units that we put in the forward stateroom and in the salon to draw their power consumption from Shore Power 2, which is what services our heating and air conditioning units. That way we're not competing for amps on Shore 1 for all the other daily things like drying your hair and running the hot water heater and such. The power that comes from Shore 2 to the heating and air conditioning units, basically I'm tapping into that power, and on one side of the outlet in the forward stateroom and on one side of the outlet in the salon, I'm going to wire that for heating use only, and then I'm going to put a tag on the outlet so that you know where to plug in the space heaters to make sure that they're drawing from Shore 2 instead of Shore 1. So I've tied in a power cable down at the air conditioning unit. The cable's going out the wall where the outlet is. Now I just need to wire it to one half of the outlet and then put the outlet back in the wall and put a label on it, and we should be good to go. Then we'll go do the salon. Half the battle working on boats are the small spaces I need to cram my 6'4", 210-pound body into in order to access various things. Luckily for me, a little bit of boat yoga and some body butter, and I usually fit. After I completed the forward stateroom outlet, I moved on to the salon, which also wasn't too much of a headache. At least this time I had a little more headroom and space to move around. Oh, and don't mind my plumber's crack. And once that fun project was done, we were off to enjoy another dry weather window doing something I never thought I'd do. Go coffee tasting.
Anyway, so I prefaced the welcome to BarnYard Coffee and Hammerhead at the same time.
Awesome.
That's cool. Well, we're big coffee people too, so
Okay.
it's like, I And not just because we're from Seattle. If you didn't already know, Sean and I love two things equally as much as boats: animals and coffee. And all three of those things combined is pretty exciting for us.
And this is Officer Hamilton over by the hay feeder.
Hi! Peanuts? What do you think?
Oh my god! Don't you go running, buddy!
Owners Derek and Debbie, along with the help of their kids, have been roasting organic coffee beans on their 5-acre hobby farm since 2016. It's considered a micro coffee roastery, kind of like a microbrewery, but only better.
We'll do our darkest roast,
Okay.
and then we'll do a medium roast, and we'll do them at the same time. And what that'll allow you to do is allow your taste buds to really differentiate between the two.
Sure.
And it will accentuate whether you liked the dark or whether you like lighter better.
Got it?
Yeah.
This might just be the most fun and energizing experience we've ever had at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And things got even better when we got to taste their flavor-infused banana cream pie coffee.
Ready to take his maiden voyage
Awesome, thank
on your
you.
boat. Thanks, guys.
And before heading back to the boat, we couldn't leave without saying farewell to our new friends on the farm.
Cool, back to the boat?
Back to the boat.
Cool, I got pee.
If you need a pick-me-up the next time you're in Blaine, be sure to stop by BarnYard Coffee. Only 2 miles from the marina, it's definitely worth the trip. Blaine has proven to be an awesome destination for boaters. It's never really on the map as a place to go, but we can't wait to come back. The marina was great. It's walking distance to everything into town, restaurants and shops, and our favorite Peace Arch Park where we could actually like dip our toes across the border, which these days with the border closed, it's pretty cool. Glad we came. We really just came because we want to try new places, and that Peace Arch Park sounded pretty cool, along with the coffee tasting. So there's tons to do. Sad to be leaving. We're gonna start making our way back south. Sean has to fly out for work in a week, so we're gonna make our way further south towards SeaTac, and not sure where we're gonna go. I mean, we're gonna be at anchor for the next probably 4 or 5 days. So it's been nice to have 3 or 4 days at a marina. And hopefully it's not as wet for the next week. I think it's supposed to be, but we'll see. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more of our travels, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell, and give us a big old thumbs up. We'll see you next time.
Now that we're fully caffeinated from that coffee tasting, it's time to start our weekly Q&A. This week we have 4 questions, and let's get on with the first one. Our first question this week comes from Nick, and Nick lives in Sweden. Nick asks, what is the fuel consumption running your generator when not in port? We've actually never tested it. There is a way on our boat to test the fuel consumption. There's not an electronic fuel flow gauge. There's a graduated tank, and you can take a stopwatch reading over time to see how much fuel you've burned. However, from what I understand, a 50% loaded generator burns about 1/10 of a gallon per kilowatt per hour. So we have a 10 kW generator, so on average I would translate that to about 1 gallon of burned diesel per hour of usage. So in reality it's probably anywhere from 3/4 of a gallon to 1.5 gallons. However, we've never checked it, but we believe it to be about 1 gallon per hour. Our next question comes from Jeff. Jeff lives in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and asks, how are the sinks, shower, and washing machine connected to the gray water tank? Where are you allowed to empty the gray water tank? What regulations apply to emptying the tank? And are there traps on the fixture drains? So yeah, our boat's a little bit unique in that all of our domestic water, our sinks, our showers, our washing machine, all drain into a gray water tank which collects the water, and then there's a pump that discharges it overboard. So in some countries you're not allowed to discharge gray water in a harbor. You have to leave port and go out into the open waters to discharge. In the US, most boats, the drains for sinks and showers actually just go directly overboard. So there are no restrictions on gray water discharge in a harbor in the US. When we're at port for a week or two in our home marina, our gray water tank isn't large enough to hold the capacity of water that we use over that period of time, so we do discharge in our harbor. If we are somewhere and we know we're only going to be there for a couple days, then we'll choose to hold the gray water until we get out of port and then discharge it in open water. Our third question this week comes from Stan, and Stan lives in East Sound on Orcas Island in Washington, up in the San Juans. Stan asked, how important was the fact that NORDHAVNs come with stabilizers, and how do they function? So that was a huge selling point for us. In a full displacement boat, we wanted to maximize comfort because we know we're going to be at sea for long periods of time, and comfort comes in the way of stabilization. Stabilization takes out all of the roll in the boat, at least most of it. It doesn't do much for the pitch, kind of the forward and aft movement, but definitely the roll. I don't know of any NORDHAVN that doesn't have some form of stabilization as built from the factory. So that stabilization can come in the way of active fins, which is what our boat has. Active fin is, there's two sort of 3-foot by 3-foot fins on the starboard side and the port side of our boat that are actuated by a hydraulic ram. And then there's a gyro sensor that monitors how much roll the boat has, and then the fins will counteract that roll by moving to level out the boat. Another form of stabilization on a lot of NORDHAVNs is paravanes. So they have mechanical rigging that they can deploy off of either side of the boat and then drop a fish in the water, and that fish helps keep the boat level. So that's a mechanical based system, and a lot of NORDHAVNs actually have both for redundancy. So if your active fins were to fail, you could deploy the paravane system for stabilization. So we have the active fin. Our fourth question this week and final question comes from David, and David lives in the UK and asks, if you could change one thing about freedom, what would it be? And I think for Elizabeth and I, it's a minor thing, and it's something that we can easily change when we want to, but it'd be the color of the ultra leather, and then changing the configuration of our port side settee in the salon to be an L-shaped. Some of the newer modeled 43s, it has sort of a wraparound settee, which just expands your seating area a little bit in the salon. However, the downside to that is we wouldn't have a place to put our Christmas tree between the months of Thanksgiving and Christmas. So that wide open space right now works well for the tree. So maybe at some point we'll change the ultra leather color. However, at this point it's still in really good condition, so it's hard for us to justify spending the money just to change the color. So as always, thank you everybody for all of your great questions. If you want one of your questions answered on an upcoming video, look us up on Instagram and drop us a direct line with your question, your location, and your name, and we'll get it answered on an upcoming video. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next week. Have a great week.